All right, attempt number one. So, today's an interesting day. Today, 3 years ago, my grandmother passed away, my Lola Pompeia. And while I spent a lot of that day mourning, I even pulled up, even a memory came up on my Facebook about about the uh, about the tribute I had posted. Um, I spent a lot of time recalling memories of that. I think I think now today I don't want to dwell on memories, but rather how far I've come along since then. And in those 3 years, since she's passed, it's it's been a real amazing. And even though, in later of my life she wasn't as relevant, she was always around, and none of this would have been possible without her in some form or another. It's really great. But I also think about, her being my grandmother. In fact, she was the grandparent I had that was most involved in my life growing up. I still have both my grandparents on my mom's side, bless their souls, but both of my grandparents on the dad's side, are passed. And I think it's funny that I can easily see myself on my dad's grandparents' side. So I want to relate that in two ways. How my kids are with their grandparents, and how I've grown since then. My kids met Lola Pompeia. They got to know, like, not they don't met her, but like she's gonna be an afterthought in their lives. And but the fact that they got to meet their great grandmother, they've met both. Well, I don't. Yeah, they have met all three of their great grandparents when Lola Pompeia was still alive. And I think that's just an amazing achievement. Not for the sake of who they are, but what they've seen. And yeah, it's just kind of surreal sometimes how long lasting a lifetime is. What you can see, what you can do, how much the world changes. Especially, like, whether it be a lifetime of 90 plus years or just 3. And in those, and another thing too is my kids' interaction with their grandparents is going to be so different compared to mine with grandmother, because my Lola, she's from the Philippines. And yeah, my parents are from the Philippines, but they're young enough. My parents are young enough to know what it's like to be an American and be a Filipino. My Lola was always a Filipino, no matter where she lived. So I guess that culture boundary is kind of gonna be a little bit different for my kids growing up, because I was exposed to my Lola and all my Lola Lolos. I even knew my Lolo Clemente while he was still alive, even for a little bit. I got to meet him in the Philippines. And I think that's kind of funny too, how much that reflects in my family. My dad desires to return to his homeland, much like his dad. And my mom, well, she doesn't mind moving home, but she stays here for the sake of her kids, me and my sister, and the grandkids, my kids. And I think that's kind of interesting in a history sense, where it just repeats itself. Yeah, but today was supposed to be a vigil service for 3 years in passing, and you can tell, like, my Lola Pompeia had 10 kids. Some aren't alive, but most are. And with those 10 kids, a big family, especially here in Tampa. And, they celebrated it. I still remember all the mourning that they did, but now it's a celebration. We always celebrate just the memory and and just the blessings that we had for her, from her, and for us. She raised my entire family generation in some fashion or another, and it was amazing just to see what she's done and how much we, her kids and her grandkids took in from it. And I guess that's the biggest thing why I wanted to talk about this, because I'm not going to be able to attend the service or the vigil prayer because I have my other responsibilities, of course. I just got out of class. I'm waiting to pick up the kids. But I wanted to express that I was still thinking of her when when this news came up to me, because she was a big part of my life growing up. And I think that's a really keen thing where any one person can make a big impact in our lives, whether family or not. But she certainly did, and it's really great that she kept our families together, and I took a lot from that. And I still think, even though I'm in a weird situation where me and my kids' mom aren't together, we still keep the families together. Me and her are still in contact. So, family is a very big part of my life, and it always will be. And I think that's some of the biggest lessons that we've gotten from her, not only just from her sense of family, but sense of growth and responsibility for everyone in it. And I'm always thankful for that. It's something that we just grew up with and became habit for us, but not everybody had that growing up. And it was a distinct difference, going from being taken care of by your Lola and then going to school where the same values weren't held, especially in American homes. So there's a lot of people that value family for sure, but it wasn't generally widespread. And I always wondered why it was so different. And then here we are. I keep bringing this back, but 3 years later from her passing, I think I'm gonna repost the 3-year thing, because it basically encompassed everything I felt about her. She was an amazing woman. She single-handedly raised a family of 10 kids, dozens of grandchildren. Not all at once, but we all had our share. And it was just, she's an amazing person, and to live up to that would be an amazing thing. I may not be successful now, but I think I can prove that I can be a good person and a good father, at least. Someone who can take care of their kids and give everything they had, just like she did. I think the garage is opening. Yeah, so I love you, Lola.